We are about to launch the exclusive History of the Bay Patreon. You're going to get the first access to all podcast episodes. As soon as they get recorded and edited, they're going to the Patreon first. You're going to get weekly bonus content. I'm talking about behind the scenes and special features on Bay Area history. You can suggest guests, suggest topics, and get a guaranteed response. And there's even a feature where you get access to the studio calendar. You see which guests are scheduled and you can submit questions in advance. There's a feature where you can get a shout out in every podcast episode because I want it to be known who's really supporting, who's really helping this platform grow. There's gonna be meetups in the Bay Area every 3 months for just the patrons. We're gonna come together in a dope environment, chop it up, kick it. There's discounts on merch, discounts on tickets, a whole lot more. So make sure you head over to our Patreon. The link is in the description, and I'll see y'all over there. What up, everybody? This is Dregs One. Welcome to another episode of the History of the Bay podcast, recorded here at Empire Studios. Got my man Eric, aka E Visuals, behind the lens, getting this right. And today we're back with a long-awaited, much-anticipated part 2. The part 1 went up, one of our biggest episodes of 2025.
That's crazy. That's surprising.
Not surprising to me because I'm always able to figure out, who's gonna be dope on here. It's all about who I want to talk to and who I'm interested in. And this brother has a really interesting story and has been part of a lot of Bay Area history. Now going under the name Shad Viciouz, you might know him as Shadow, formerly of the Straight Lace Mob, formerly of East CoCo Records. My bro, back for another one.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, truly.
I think you might have the record for the quickest turnaround for a part 2. There's so many times, so many long stories. I'm like, we're going to do a part 2, but you're right back. I think it's 2 months?
Maybe 2 months? Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah. The fans couldn't wait. They couldn't happen fast enough for the fans. So.
No, that's crazy, bro. That's cool. I'm shocked. I'll be real with you. Like, that's crazy.
So you hit me up and your album is almost done, or is it? Maybe it will be available by the time this comes out.
I'm thinking it'll be available by the time it comes out.
Authentic.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can't sleep, all I do is toss and turn now. Thoughts sink deep, but it's cool, I gotta learn how to need some rope to cope, bro. I'm blowing through so many strains. Focusing on heavy gains, covered in a cloud of smoke.
What's the name of the album?
Authentic.
Shad Viciouz.
Yeah, Shad Viciouz, authentic, and it's subtitled because if I'm able to do more music after this, I want to do. It's like a series that I have, so it's like Lil Wayne had the Carters, Jay-Z had the Blueprint. It's just Authentic, the Book of Shadow, and then the next one will be whatever, the Book of Shadow. So kind of keeping my old name still in there to let people know is me, because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, you gotta give them a little bit of opportunity to catch up. You can't expect everybody to see every announcement. Sometimes it takes a while for a new name to stick.
Right, exactly.
But so we'll make sure that we put the link up in this description. We'll make sure that everything's out and rolled out properly. And the very first time I reached out to you, you're like, I want to wait till my album is out. I was like, don't wait. Like, let's do it now.
Right.
So that you can get a little bit of momentum going. You can get exposure to the fans. So that kind of gives you a better platform to drop the album.
It actually did. Yeah, it actually does. Like, my Instagram followers went way up after the show. It's kind of crazy, like doubled. Like super
That's
quick.
beautiful.
And a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't know it was you. I've been following your music. And then a lot of people were like, I didn't know nothing about you, but now I'm following you, and now I'm listening to your music, and it's just all types, and I'm like, man, thank you.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I mean, I was a lot of people talked to me about this episode, like random people, like all different types, not just like homeboy rap fans. Like,
right, really?
Like, yeah, like this young black dude was like, "Hey, I seen you with Woodie's partner," and like, actually, I don't think he'll mind me saying it. Like, I was with I Am Sue one day, and he was like, "Yeah, what about this song?" He showed me like a Woodie song, and he was like, "I saw the one you did with Shadow."
Oh, I Am Sue, for real?
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
so people will be tuning in, man. I wanted to say like, I wanted to ask like, what was the reaction that you got, or some of the feedback you got from the first episode?
I mean, the feedback as far as like, so for myself, I mean, I meant what I said. Like, I'm pretty much solo all the time, right? So the reaction like on social media was crazy, but then like Lou hit me up, and like Wood's cousin Jim hit me up, because me and Jim are real close, and it went really good overall. But they were able to fill out, hey, you know, you weren't talking to Wood these last 4 months. This is the why to your what, like, you know what I'm saying, and kind of filled in some gaps for me and stuff. And it was a good reaction. It was a really good reaction. It was yeah, it's been nothing but positive.
No negative feedback or constructive criticism.
I look in the
not haters. That
like,
don't
okay,
count.
so you're not talking about comments and stuff like that.
Those motherfuckers will talk shit about anything. You got the dopest shit ever. They'll be like, "This sucks." It's
right,
like, that don't fucking count. But I'm saying like constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism.
Or like, I know like some of the events we talked about are very sensitive. Was there any pushback on that?
No.
Dope.
No, actually, no, not at all. I haven't. No, nothing negative.
Wow.
Not yet. It's never too late. You know what I'm saying? So no, not yet.
That's beautiful, man. I mean,
right.
For me, I'm always like, I kind of stopped being self-conscious because I was like, man, I gotta do what I do. But like, I still am very mindful of like when I'm dealing with someone who passed away,
right,
or dealing with street shit. I don't want to be like some of these other platforms that just, you know, do all this shit for clicks and views. I try to treat everything respectfully. Right. And I feel like that comes across. And I feel like that's why a lot of people watch, because this is one of those platforms where you're not going to get some bullshit glorifying type of shit.
Right. It's very surface. It's everything's right here, right in front of you.
Right,
you know what I mean? And so... And it seems like I've been catching up with a lot of your stuff. So I watched the K Lil one.
Yeah.
I watched the Rico Too Smooth one. I watched GB one. Man, that dude. Shout out to him, dude, because like that dude, I didn't realize that. You know, like I said, I'm in my own little bubble. You know what I'm saying? And so like I didn't realize that dude did so much for his community. I was wow, that's like salute to you, bro. Like that's pretty dope. But I've been catching up on all your shit, bro.
Thanks, man.
It's dude, you got a good thing going, bro. I enjoy your podcast, man. I really do. Brother. Truly, I do.
Thanks.
And I've been watching these little clips with Spice One. I'm juiced about that. I was just telling you. Because I actually got the opportunity to hang out with Spice One when I was with Juice, and we did that song. It's called Live for the Funk. I think it's called Live for the Funk, and it's on the If It Ain't Real, It Ain't Official album. And I actually got to hang out with Spice One, and he is gangster as fuck, but he's also hella cool. Like we were smoking tree together, and he was cool. He was hella cool.
He was chilling. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's been a good journey, man, and I'm glad that you've been a part of it.
Oh man, thank you for letting me be a part of it. Watch the one with Too Short. That was cool.
Yeah, that was a good one. We just did part 2 also. I don't know if that'll be out yet, but we'll see.
That's dope.
I was telling you, I never really prepared questions. I usually do like a little, sometimes I do like some surface level research. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure, but I usually freestyle. I like to keep it, I don't even like to call it interviews.
Right.
I like to, it's a podcast.
It's a conversation. It's a conversation.
I do have some questions.
Of course.
But it's not like a Q&A.
No, it's all good. And like I said, I'd like to kind of go back and fix some of the stuff that from the first podcast.
You mentioned that. So I was saying that to say that this time I actually did prepare questions. Because, and I took a lot of questions from your comments and from people messaging me, because there was so much interest in this particular story. And I have a couple follow-up questions of my own that I didn't get to ask. And I want to start with your rap style, because we didn't really talk about it. You're a fucking lyricist, bro. Like, I was listening to some of your shit the other day. I forget which song it was, but it was one of your new songs that you had posted. Like
Nightmares?
I don't remember the title,
the
bro, but it was something you had posted recently. It might have even been a feature that you did.
Okay.
And I'm like,
was it on my story?
Yeah.
It was a feature that I did.
Feature. Because I'm a lyricist too. I listen, right, to wordplay, cadence. You rhyme like every other beat. You rhyme like if it's for those who understand this stuff, in like one bar, it's 2 beats.
Right.
You rhyme like 4 rhymes per bar, like at least.
Yeah.
It's very methodical. It's very
right.
It's impressive, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really intentional with my. Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know, man. I can't explain. I'm a perfectionist, kind of, and so my artistry kind of really started from being a kid. Like, when I was really little, the first thing I did was pick up a pencil, and I drew from the time I could pick up a pencil till I was like 18. Like, so I have significant drawing skills. I'm not, by no means am I the best I've ever seen, but I'm pretty good, you know? And so, and I, even as a kid, I would sit there and erase things, and my parents would have to take me away because I'd start crying. I get so frustrated. I'm like, it's not coming out the way I want it. And I'd fucking flip out. And my parents would have to be like, go to your room. We're taking this away. You go calm down. And like, anytime like something's not going the way I want it to go, if it's my creation, I would just flip out when I was young. And so I think that's just something that always stuck with me. So when I hear a beat, I'm like, oh, here's, like, I don't know. There's just, if there's not hell of rhyming words, for me, it's not complete. I don't know. It's just kind of my style. It's kind of the way I've always.
Was there any other artists that influenced that, or?
Man, so I'm a big fan of so many. Let me shut this. Put on silent. I'm a fan of so many artists, but like, yeah, I'm a huge fan of so many artists. But like, it's gonna sound funny because like, I've listened to a lot of East Coast. I'm a hip hop fan, but I'm also a rap fan. So like, I love the Bay Area rap, but unlike most of my counterparts that I grew up with, they only listen to Bay, or they only listen to California. They only listen to gangster shit, and I'm influenced by a lot of New York hip hop, Midwest, 8 Ball MJG. Like, I'm a fan of M. Like so when M first came out, I remember being extremely impressed. Me and Wood actually used to have this debate because Wood hated M and I liked M. And so we used to he'd be like, bro, he's garbage. I'm like, bro, listen to his rhyming patterns. Like, he's dope. He's dope.
Anytime someone says Eminem's whack, I'm like,
yeah, Wood didn't like him because it was like, hi, my name is hi. And it was like, that's what he kind of knew him as, and he never delved deeper. Whereas I heard it, I didn't really necessarily, that's not a song for me, but I heard the lyricism. I'm like, oh, let me dig a little deeper. And I'm like, actually, this dude's dope. And me and him used to debate over it, right? So like, someone like an M, or like there's this dude named Vinny Paz. He runs a group called Jedi Mind Tricks. You know?
Yeah, I know about all the East Coast shit too.
Yeah, bro. So I'm a fan of Jedi Mind Tricks, Vinny Paz. I'm a fan of Immortal Technique. Mm-hmm. I think Fabulous, his rhyming patterns are super dope. Like, I was always a fan of Cameron. Like, so I tend to gravitate towards artists that really have some intricacy to their rhyming patterns. And so I think because I always kind of looked up to it. Don't get me wrong, I could get down with something super simple and basic too, if the presentation's dope, if the beat is dope, if the cadence is right, you know, the whole shit. But I tend to be more impressed when I hear something like that. So I think I just always, if I'm gonna do this, let me strive to be what I look up to versus what I think is okay. You know what I'm saying? So I think because I always looked up to rappers like that, I think I always kind of wrote in that pattern. But I don't know. I mean, I'm very articulate. I have a big vocabulary.
Yeah, it shows, man. Very, very unique style, especially for out here. A couple of people wanted to know a little bit more about some of your more notable songs from your past catalog. And one of those songs that kept coming up is Dip, Dip, Dive. And people were asking you to go into a little bit more detail about making that song.
Okay. Shit. Dip Dip Dive. Oh, well, so that was kind of one of the first songs I ever wrote, because like when I was with Juice and Stray Lace Mob, I did a lot of verses. And honestly, I'll keep it completely real, up until the past, I'd say I didn't become a good songwriter until probably 2 or 3 years ago. That's just an honest statement. I've always been a good lyricist. I'll give you a dope verse, but writing songs is a little bit different, you know? And so I was with Wood. It was me, Wood, Kev Knox, Louie Lou was there. I think Los was there. I want to say we were at the Paradise, because Dip Dip Dive is Northern Exposure 5. Yeah, Wood was in Paradise at that time. So Wood was in Paradise. We were, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Lou could fact check me and be like, "Hey, bro, you were wrong about this," because he did that. He did that on one of the other interviews, but I actually wasn't wrong. But like, I could be wrong about where he lived. I think he lived in Paradise, and it was Los, me, Wood, Kev Knox, Louie Lou. I don't remember if other people were there, but I know those 5 were there, us 5. And I wrote this. I intended to write 2 verses, but again, at this time, I'm not really a songwriter like that. And I didn't know, I just ended up writing one long, I think it's like a 42 bar verse or a 36 bar verse. It's hell of long, right? And the verse alone is like 2.5, 3 minutes. And Wood was like, "You're gonna make a second verse?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe I shouldn't." He's like, "You just need to put a hook on that." And I was like, "It's too long, huh?" He's like, "It's not too long if it's one song, just one big verse and a hook." And I'm like, "Okay." But that wasn't intended. The intent was for me to write a 2-verse song with a hook. But I ended up I got so into my verse that I just never stopped. And by the time I stopped, I was like, this shit's hella long. You know what I mean? So, and to be honest, so Lou was in there and I was having such a hard time writing the chorus. And Lou was like, "I hear something." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dip, dip, dive." And I was like, "Dip, dip, dive." He's like, "Dip, dip." Yeah, he's like, "Bro, you should say dip, dip, dive, and then something else." And I was like, "All right." And then I was just like, because I'd only written one hook before, and that was Graveyard Shift. So I was just like, "All right, dip, dip, dive." And I was just, what can I think of? And then I came up with the rest of it. But Lou's the one that came up with actually what ended up being the title and gave me the idea to write the chorus. I was like, "Dip, dip, dive." He's like, "Bro, it's gonna sound dope." And I was like, "All right." And when we were done, I was like, "Bro, that sounds dope." And I was hella happy with. That's actually one of the few songs on East CoCo of mine that I'm fully happy with. Like when I hear it, it's that one and Against All Odds. All the other ones I'm not happy with, but that's just how I am now.
Another song people wanted to know more about was Graveyard Shift, which you mentioned.
I hate that song, man. So I don't hate it, but like, it's funny because like, so I was heavy hustling at that time. So at that time, I've had a lot of different phases in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I worked in gyms for a long time where I continuously, no matter what gym I went to, I ended up being the fitness manager because my sales skills are good and I'm articulate and I'm really good with people and my knowledge on anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, all that stuff is really good. So like I excelled at that, but there was a time, where I sold hella drugs for like, I don't know, it was probably like 7 or 8 years of my life where I sold a fair share of coke. I sold a little weed. I sold a lot of meth. I sold a lot of crystal because that's what makes you money in the like Antioch, Oakley, Concord. I'd maneuver, you know what I mean? And I was balling at that time actually. Like it was a bucket, but I bought my brother's first car. I had a safe full of money. I had fucking guns with laser sights. I had jewelry and shit. You know what I'm saying? I was doing it, bro. I was like, my little young mind, I was like, oh, I'm balling. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember because like I used to rock this watch. I had a gold watch. And I've never really cared about money like that. Like, I mean, obviously we need it to live and I care about it, but I don't care about it the way like I'm not a money hungry man. I'm not a power hungry man. You know what I'm saying? But I had nice shit, you know what I'm saying? And so I had this gold watch and it was like, it had like some diamonds in it and shit. And it wasn't like, $5,000 watch. It was like a $2,000 watch or like something like that. It was expensive, but it was, I don't know. I've seen better watches, but Wood liked it. Wood always liked that watch. He's like, bro, that watch is so dope. And after like, it was like a year of me wearing it, he'd tell me that. And one day I was just like, bro, took it off. I'm like, here, bro. He's like, for real? And Wood was like, he was like an emotional person. He got tears in his eyes. He's like, you're for real giving me this? And I was like, yeah, I think you like it more than I do. Like, I was like, you can have it, bro. And he's like, for real? I was like, yeah, bro. And he just gave me a big ass hug. He's like, thank you, bro. And he always rocked that watch. And so like, I was making pretty good money at the time. You know what I'm saying? And if I have it, I don't care. Like, that's why I gave him the watch. You know what I'm saying? So like, anyways, I was basically writing. I basically always told the truth in my raps. I write about my life. I write about my experiences. And that's what I was doing at that time. When I wrote Graveyard Shift, I was fucking hustling. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I lived. Like, my rent was paid. Like, I was living by myself. Well, no, I had a roommate because I couldn't get an apartment by myself. I ended up having a house. And I couldn't get it by myself because I couldn't show legal form of tender. So I lived with this dude who did construction and fucking, he basically paid for the house and shit like that. Or I paid for the house, but it was his name on everything. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where there's this picture with me, Wood, and Louie Lou, and Lenny, and Lil Los, and I'm wearing like red sweats, and I got some gold on, and we're all in there. And that was taken at that house at that time. I'm like all overweight and shit. It floats around Instagram a lot, so I've seen it. It's like out there. That was at that time. And so I structured a song for 3 verses, and I wrote the hook. I still to this day really like the hook, but I did it, and then I thought I was ready when I spit it, but I wasn't ready because you record, right? You know when you're just kind of off a little bit, like, and you think you have it down, but for whatever reason, it's just not your day. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And I was having one of those days, and I was kind of offbeat, and I can hear it. I'm a perfectionist. It bothers the fuck out of me. And so when we were done with it, I listened to it, and I'm like, I don't like it. And it was like, what don't you like about it? I'm like, this part in the second verse and this part in the third verse, I'm not feeling it. We need to do it over again. And he listened to it. Nah, you're tripping, bro. And I'm like, I'm not though. I can hear it, and I still hear it. And so basically like, he's like, nah, you're tripping, bro. I'm like, no, bro, that punch in is super abrasive. It's not smooth. You can hear the punch in. I don't like it. I'm like, my cadence is off, and I'm like, I'm off beat right here. I tried to speed it up and I'm off. I was like, I can do the whole thing better. Let me just redo it. No. And we actually got into an argument about it. I'm like, dude, it's my fucking song. Cause it started like kind of like just where it was like, we were just disagreeing, and it was friendly. And then when I realized, I'm like, dude, it's my song, bro. And he's like, yeah, but it's my album. And I'm like, oh, this is real. We're butting heads right now. We're like legit butting heads. And we actually got into an argument about it. And he's like, bro, I don't care, bro. It's my fucking album, bro. I'm keeping it. And I'm just like, dude, I fucking hate you, bro. Like, whatever, bro. And so ever since it's come out, every time I hear it.
Make sure you stay in front of the mic.
Oh, sorry. Anytime I hear it now, that's what I hear. Like, and that's the way I am. Like, if there's a small imperfection that my ear picks up on it, now that's going to be all I hear. Everything can be beautiful, but if this is fucked up, it's all I see. It's all I hear. And I'm kind of like that. And so I've always hated that song.
Yeah. When you listen to some of the East CoCo Northern Exposure records, there's a couple little bloopers if you have a trained ear. I don't think the fans usually would notice, but
I can hear it though.
I think from a musical standpoint, you hear some lines, you're like, a lot of Bay Area rap actually.
True.
Little off beats here and there, little kind of mixing fuck ups. And I think that happens when we're like so independent and we're making shit in a bubble, and you're like, this sounds good, and you don't really have like outside opinions on it. But
outside opinions are important, actually.
On that note too, I was gonna ask you, where, as a lyricist, as someone who really places a high level on lyricists, where do you rank the other lyrical content on Northern Exposure or East CoCo or homeboy rap in general? Like, where do you, as a lyricist, where do you like who do you rate highly in that sense? And I think that was something the fans were interested in too.
As a lyricist, to be honest, like I said, like for me, like I'm a homeboy, grew up that way, and it's not something I'm like ashamed of at all. But it's also for me, and anybody that has been following my music since Northern Exposure will know, like I've never hung my identity on that in terms of my music, like to whereas I feel like, and it's no like. I have nothing but love and respect for my counterparts and whatnot. But what I see, it just, I feel like when you hang your whole identity on that, I don't know. I feel like this is a complicated question. Okay, so because I don't want to get into, I don't want to put my tricky. So first off, is some of the dopest lyricists to me, because I don't really listen that much. I don't just listen to Northern rap. Like a lot of Northern artists, that's all they listen to, and they are kind of in that bubble, whereas they only listen to Northern rap. You know what I mean? Whereas me, like, I don't even only listen to rap. I like reggae. I like alternative. I like rock. Facts. I like some country. I like I like so many different forms of music. You know what I'm saying? It's just, so like, okay, so first off, let me just start off with some of the people on my album I think super highly of, because I wouldn't have you on my album, especially with this album. Like my first album, I made a lot of mistakes because, I don't know, I just felt like, I think I started with SLM. And it was a big like click, and I felt loved because I was like, it was real. And then East CoCo, I felt loved, and I was, because it was real. And then other factions that I've been with, it wasn't like that. But I think for me, always being with a big group of people, I think I always wanted that. And so from my first album, I just put a ton of people on there. And one of the big feedbacks I got is like, bro, a lot of those features don't belong on there with you. Not to be rude, but they're just not at your caliber of lyricism. They're not at your caliber. You shouldn't have put so many people on there. And I put everybody on there that I knew. I'm like, hey, be on there. Hey. And that's a mistake I'll never make again, And it's no slight on any of those artists. And I'm not saying anybody, because some of those artists are dope.
So who do you put high up?
So what I'm saying is like the artists that I put high up are the ones on my new album right now, which is I put Little Raider up there. I put Louis Loco up there. Louis Loco's way up there to me. Louis Loco and Raider are two of my favorite. I like them as artists, period. They're good friends of mine, but I like them as artists, period. I think their lyricism is dope. I think it's thoughtful, it's intentful, and I really do fuck with their music. BFD is another one. That dude's got bars, bro. You know who BFD is?
I'm not familiar.
He's with, he runs the No Paperwork podcast. He's part of that. Mm-hmm. He goes by Fats, I think, also. I don't know. I don't know his name, but like he's hella cool. That dude's got serious bars, bro. Dope. Like bars, like give me a run for my money bars. Like he's got bars. And then I've heard some of GB stuff. He's talented. Shit, I like Rico. Those are the ones that stand out to me that I can think of off the top of my head.
That's cool. Yeah. You touched on a little bit, and I was curious because we talked about it a little bit before, but that whole boxing in of, it's always very strange to me of like, you only listen to like dudes from the same gang as you.
Yeah,
like,
that's weird
crazy
to me. Yeah.
But I get it. I mean, it's definitely the soundtrack.
I get it, but I don't. Like, it's one of those things, like, it's like, okay, so, there's certain levels of gangster and like even in my own, even in my own family, in terms, not family, blood family, but in terms of Northerners, you know what I'm saying? There's like, there are going to be people, and there have been people that look at like how I speak or how I'm articulate and be like, that dude seems like a square. I don't fuck with him. But in just the same way you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you either, because I think you're probably...
People are ignorant.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and there's certain people, and they spread in all... It could be Northerners, it could be Southerners, it could be black, white, Asian, whatever. There's just certain people that are gonna look at you a certain way for speaking articulately and speaking intelligently and being like, this dude comes from the streets, you're supposed to be ignorant and stupid. And we probably wouldn't even get along, bro. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I meditate and make your nose bleed. Like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So in the same sense that I might not be liked by certain people, I probably wouldn't take to them either type of thing.
Yeah, being closed-minded is not a good characteristic.
No, it's not. So like, see, now you need to bring me back. My ADHD took over.
Well, on that note, I was curious, have you ever had a Southsider tell you that they fuck with your music?
Yeah, several actually. It's crazy, especially since that podcast, since the podcast came out. Several, and here, and I'm, I'm grateful. Here's the thing, like with me, and here's the, like, I just think different, bro. Like I have a different mentality from a lot of my counterparts, and like, in terms of like, see, I don't care, dude. I'm just gonna be real. I don't hate Southsiders. I don't hate Sureños. I don't like, so the ones that came in from LA back when we were young, they called themselves Los Chongos, the monkeys, right? I hate those motherfuckers. So like the ones that took Raymond's legs, I hate those motherfuckers. Though, you know what I mean? I like, but in terms of like it's kind of like we talked about before when we were talking about the whole ayahuasca. If you were over there and I was over here, right? It's kind of like that. It's like I don't have a problem with anybody. Like those dudes in LA, they're in LA and they're like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna beef statewide with somebody. I'm not gonna draw. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not gonna do that. Like it's just not what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna sit here and speak my mind on it, but that's just not something I'm gonna do in terms of like, why? You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like
so the dudes listening like, to you probably feel the same way,
right? Like I don't have no beef. Like, look, man, like those guys in LA, they represent what they represent. They fight for their homies. They fight for their hood. They fight for their equality and their way of life and shit. And it's really the same thing. It's not that much different. The only time I don't have a problem with you way over there doing what you do over there. I actually have a certain amount of respect for you, because if we're enemies, bro, I ain't never had an enemy, like a real enemy that I don't respect. Because if I don't respect you, you're not worthy of being my enemy. I respect the fact that you're real as fuck and you might kill me or whatever the fuck. But there's a certain level of respect I have for you if I'm going to call you my enemy. You know what I'm saying? So the way I see it is like, I don't have a problem with none of those guys over there. And if they want to listen to my music, I mean, thank you. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? I only have a problem when you come out from over there and you try to take what's already established over here. This is our shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's when I have a problem. And that's why, like, with those, like Los Chongos, it's like, dude, you guys are gonna come out here and try to take this shit. It's no different than someone breaking in your house. You break in my house, yeah, I have a fucking problem with you, bro. You're in my house.
Yeah, it's more,
it's
personal.
Yeah, you just signed up to die, bro. Like you're tripping. You know what I'm saying? So when you come over here, or if you any invader that comes over to somewhere that's already established and you try to make that shit yours, yeah, you're the bad guy. You know what I'm saying?
Are those guys still around?
I mean, I'm sure they're still around to a certain degree, but nah, not like that. Not like that. And I wanted to get something straight too, like just real quick, because because I watched that podcast and I was like, it took me a couple, because I'm not the most confident person, so it's funny too, because like the first comment that popped up was a negative one, and then it was nothing but good ones after that. But the first thing I saw was a negative comment, and I was like, oh shit, I'm not gonna watch the podcast. And I didn't watch it for like 3 days, bro. I didn't watch it for like 3 or 4 days. I was like, fuck. But then I started getting hella positive feedback on my Instagram. Hey, watch this. Hey, I watched this. Hey, bro, awesome job. And I was just like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I think. So I watched it, and like I was nervous, but I also told you, for the audience too, I took, so because of my ADHD, I took something called Alpha Brain, and it's like Joe Rogan promotes it on his podcast. And so I was like, okay, I need this extra focus. And so I bought 2 little ones that were at Sprouts when I was doing shopping, because I shop healthy, so I shop at Sprouts. And I found these little fucking packets, and I was like, oh, Alpha Brain, Joe Rogan talks about this. I need focus. I got this shit coming up. And I know I get ADHD, I can get sidetracked, so I'm like, I need to
I
focus.
think you just got sidetracked just now.
I did.
Yeah. I was asking you if those guys, Los Changos, were still around.
Yeah, I think, but not like they were though. It's not like
And
they
you
were.
said you were something you wanted to clear up.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to clear up. So, because I was watching on the podcast before, and I noticed that I was nervous, number one, but the alpha brain thing that I was talking about, it was actually 2 pre-workouts, but I didn't know it was 2 pre-workouts. So I'm high and I'm on 2 pre-workouts and I'm nervous, and I think I'm much more ready now. But basically, I looked at the interview and I saw that when I said, bro, there was like 50 something of us and then there was like 7, I thought, was like, is it that exaggerated? Because I want to keep it real and I don't want to put 10 on a 20. It was more like 14 of us left, 15 of us left. It wasn't like 7. It was like 14 or 15 of us left. And even though I was around for the duration of that whole war and everything, I wasn't around for every single little thing, because that also coincides, for people that are wondering about the timeline, that also coincides at the same time I started to rap with Juice. So I'm back, remember, and because I told you I was back and forth between Hunters Point, Antioch, Hunters Point, Antioch.
So is West 20th is not around the same anymore either?
Not in that same capacity, but there's a bunch of youngsters that live there that claim it. Yeah. So I mean, it's I mean, I don't know to the level like that it is, because I don't see like shit blowing up in the newspaper and on the news the way it was back then. So I think not in the same capacity, but yeah, they're there.
On the flip side to the other question, are there any Southern rappers that you ever listen to?
I've never listened to any Southern rap in my life. I've never listened to any Southern, and it's not like any disrespect.
No,
like it's not any. It
got
just
on your
hasn't
radar.
caught my ear, because in my mind, like, okay, when I was young, before I was ever affiliated with any type of Northern faction at all, I was I did bump Kid Frost, Ain't No Sunshine or something like that. There was a song.
Kid Frost, Melman 8, Cypress Hill. I mean, they're not really
Cypress Hill. I did
like
used
that.
to bump. I did used to bump Cypress Hill.
But
when I was
they're Bloods, I believe.
They're Bloods.
Yeah.
They're Bloods. Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are. They're Bloods. So like, I used to bump Cypress Hill. I didn't used to bump Kid Frost, but there was a couple of his songs that I liked. And then, but I always noticed, like, when I was starting to go and come into rap, like, at least what I felt, and I feel because of the cultural differences between Hispanics in Southern California and Hispanics out here, because they don't hang out with other cultures, you can hear it in their rap.
For sure.
You can hear the limit. They're limited. Like, they're, like,
It's a lot of oldies rapping over
yeah,
oldies.
it's a Mexican take on rap.
Right.
Whereas, like, Northern rap, like, we grow up shoulder to shoulder with Black people and Asian people and just everybody in the Bay Area. It's a huge melting pot. And we take a lot of that cultural influence. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at someone like a Louis Loco and the way he carries himself, you can tell that he grew up with a bunch of brothers. You could tell. You could just see it. Like, whereas you look at other Hispanics, they don't have that influence. And because they don't have that influence, there's a lack of flavor. It's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? There's a lack of flavor in their raps. Like, and so anytime I've ever heard a Southerner, I'm like, could be better. You know what I'm saying? So I've never, but I'm sure there are Southerners out there, Southern artists out there that got bars. I'm not going to discredit, or because in a sense I'm speaking on something I don't know of, because I've never really put a broad ear out there to listen. But when I have heard, I hear a big difference between a Southerner rapping and a Northerner rapping. It just, I can hear the difference, the swag, the flow, just the everything.
Every now and then I'll get bombarded with net bangers in some of my comments on certain content, and one thing I see that's disturbing to me is when people are like, "The Norteños try to act black" or whatever, and it's always really, one, that's just stupid, because what does that even mean? Right. What is acting black? You don't even have any knowledge of the black diaspora to even say something like that.
Right.
You just have a stereotype in your mind of what a black person is, and you're associating that with these dudes who, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, don't reflect that. but two, it's in the context of hip hop, and not to ever diminish the contribution of Puerto Rican, Cuban, Mexican, any Latin person to hip hop. But if you're talking about acting black, and in the context of rap music,
right?
Especially it's when your rappers are rapping, like you guys aren't doing banda music or corridos and shit, bro. So
right.
And then it trips me out, like, to hear that from Southerners, because it's like, don't you drive around listening to the Dramatics?
Right.
And Brenton Wood,
Temptations and all that shit.
Like, all isn't that like a big part of your culture, dog?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
So I just say all that to say that's just very ignorant.
It's very hypocritical.
Yeah.
It's very hypocritical. And the thing is like, I feel like, here's my issue when it comes to like Hispanic rap. If I have an issue with Hispanic rap and only sticking within your bubble, is like, and this might stir up some controversy too, and I don't really care.
We already have. That ship is sailed. It's controversial.
I don't really care. Like, so it's one of those things like, look, undeniably, there is some Hispanic influence, maybe Puerto Rican, a little bit of Hispanic influence in the beginning of hip hop culture. So maybe like a little bit, but let's predominantly and overwhelmingly, rap and hip hop music is black music. Okay, that's what it is.
That shouldn't be controversial.
That's not controversial at all. Yeah. No, what I'm about to say is like, so I feel like that's not controversial. That's a fucking fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, we, like, as Hispanics, as a Puerto Rican, like, are part Puerto Rican, part Mexican, 8% black. I'm a bunch of shit, right? I can start world peace by myself. You know what I mean? The point being is like, you can, like, you can't have, like, so you have rap, which is undeniably black music, right? It's black music. And you can't sit there and put yourself in this bubble, in this circle of black music, and then sit there and in other ways downgrade or disrespect black culture by saying stupid shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because you are partaking in something that has black roots. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And how can you, like, if I'm not, for me, like, that's one of the reasons also why I didn't want to, like, I've never hung my musical identity on being a Northerner, because most Northerners that do, they only rap with other Northerners for the most part. And I'm not hating on it, but what I will say is that like, because it's predominantly black culture, I see it as you're trying to come in and have a separate thing within. You're coming into this circle, but you're like, no, I don't want to be a part of your circle. I'm going to create my own circle within the circle. And that's not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not the way I am. Like, I embrace all of it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it takes anything away from the contributions that
Latinos
have made to hip hop by acknowledging that it's a predominantly black culture, especially in the roots of it. And then if you really want to go deep, man, we can talk about the African influences. There's black Puerto Ricans, there's black Mexicans.
Absolutely.
Like pure African
yeah, a lot of, see, and here's the thing, this might ruffle some feathers too.
We're already ruffled. Like, they're ruffled. Like, but that's their problem. Like, if this shit bothers you, we haven't said anything negative.
Right. So no, not at all. I'm Mexican, okay? I'm a big part of Mexico. My mom is from Mexico. My mom's from Cuernavaca. So, like, but we're not even a full real, I don't want to say we're not a real race, but we're a real people, but we're not really, exactly. Yeah. We were created.
Indigenous, European, and a little bit of African.
And African too, exactly. Yeah. Like, so the African slave trade was big. Europeans brought African slave trade into Mexico, into central Mexico in like the 1500s for like 200 years, bro, from like 1500s to the 1700s. Yeah. So there's a lot of African blood in Hispanics, just like when the Mexican-American War took place, bro. The Mexican-American War took place, and the Irish people were supposed to fight on the sides of the Americans. They were the only Europeans that did this. They ended up liking the Mexicans. They're like, dude, they're just like us. And they switched sides and started fighting on behalf of the Mexicans. And that's why you have Mexicans that look like Canelo. You know what I'm saying?
And there's the spirit influence goes back both ways, right? Because, again, if you look at like lowrider culture, Jutsu, bandanas, like all of that shit that started in like Chicano Mexican communities has influenced black folks.
Absolutely.
Well. So it's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street.
And if you're taking a hard line on, blacks should, stop acting like blacks, or like Latinos aren't allowed in hip. If you're taking either of those positions, you're like part of the problem, bro.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, it is culturally it's black music, so shouldn't I embrace that? Like, I'm stepping into your culture.
Wrong, yeah,
I'm stepping into your culture.
Yep.
I am. That's the truth. That's the truth of it. It's just like, and you don't have to, but like when I go to Japanese restaurants, I eat sushi or anything like. I love sushi. I use chopsticks. I take part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? I'm stepping into your culture.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of the way I am. So, that's just kind of my take on that.
Well, good conversation, brother. As always, I'm going at a rapid pace here because
no, it's all
I got
good.
a lot to cover with you.
It's all good,
although
man.
we could easily do a part 3, I'm sure.
I'm sure we could, bro. I'm sure we could.
I want to switch gears, and I was going to ask you about this, but you touched on it a little bit already. The fact that Contra Costa County is like a meth epicenter.
It is. It is.
What is that about?
So from my understanding, because like I said, I was in Richmond when I was like I was in Frisco till I was 5, then I was in Richmond till I was 10, then I was in Antioch, and I grew up in Antioch from 10 to like 18. I left Antioch when I was like 18, 19. So from my understanding, because there are biker gangs, like 1% biker gangs in like Oakley and Pittsburgh, and they've been there for a long ass time. Like, and they literally like I don't want to name them, but they have powwows with Hell's Angels and shit. They're like 1%ers, you know what I'm saying? And from my understanding, the meth trade was really big through the biker gangs.
So their connection was they used to like toot it to like stay awake on the runs, right? And then they're also transporting
and selling it
all over so that's how
from my understanding, because that's actually, meth was big when I moved out there, so that's kind of before me. But to my understanding, from everything that I've heard from everybody, that's a consistent story, is that it's because of the biker gangs in like Oakley and Pittsburgh.
I could see that because I tripped off Norte side, and I always thought he said CoCo County crack and bomb, keep the ballers paid, because that's what I'm used to hearing. But he says crank and bomb, keep the ballers paid. I just recently caught that.
Yep. Yeah, meth is big out there, bro. It's crazy.
So you mentioned that you got involved in that. Was that just basically like, here's a way to make some money? Or
yeah, I mean,
was there anything else deeper associated to it?
I just wanted to make money, and I just wanted to hustle and hang out with my friends, and it was just like, it just made sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, it made sense to
stay in front of the mic.
Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. At the time, it made sense because, like, well, I was a different person. Obviously, I'm super young, but yeah, no, a couple of my friends were hustling, and I just wanted to see. I wanted to see if I could do it, and I remember I got fronted a 16th, and I didn't do meth, so I got fronted a 16th. I mean, I ended up doing meth eventually, but at the time I didn't do meth, so I got a 16th. Flipped it into an 8-ball, flipped the 8-ball into a 1/4 ounce, flipped the 1/4 ounce into a 1/2 ounce, flipped the 1/2 ounce into an ounce, flipped the ounce into 2 zips, flipped the 2 zips into a 1/4 ounce, to where I ended up, I was like, damn, I turned a 16th into like half a pound or a pound that I'm copping on. And from there, I was just rolling, you know what I mean? From there. And I've always been a little bit smarter than other people. Like, I was fortunate because I did do it for a long time. I never did get caught. Like, I was really fortunate. Because the next door neighbor house across the street from mine got raided, and I remember being like terrified, but I never sold to the neighbor. So
damn. Well, that just shows how common this shit was.
Right.
You're selling it and your neighbor's selling it right next to you. Damn.
Yeah, but I never sold to the neighbor, and I never really talked to him. So I remember being nervous, but then I'm like, he doesn't know anything about me. Like, I'm cool.
Wow.
But, you know.
What made you get out of that?
So So it's a humbling story, man. So basically, you know, fast forward like 7 years, I've been doing this shit for a long time now. Like, so I'm like 23 years old, 24, and shit. I mean, bought my brother a car. I got a safe full of money. I'm giving Wood my watch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have things. Like, I'm not, by no means was I doing it to the biggest degree that I've known people that are doing it big. Like, but I'm substantial. You know what I'm saying? I'm mini balling over here. And, like I said, I didn't have any legal tender at the time. I'd only had one job as a teenager that my parents made me get at 7-Eleven during the summer. And that's the only work experience I'd ever really had. No, that's not true. I'd had one other job besides that, but I didn't really want to work. So, I started doing that. 7 years later, I'm balling out, and I had to get this construction dude. Basically, I lived with my dad for a little bit. He kicked me out. Both my parents kicked me out. So I lived with my mom. She kicked me out. Lived with my dad. He kicked me out. So then, but I'd been cool with the neighbor, and the neighbor, his name's me and him used to smoke tree all the time. Him and my brother. And this is something I always feel bad about, but I introduced him to meth, right? To where he started liking it. And then when I got kicked out, I'm like, hey, bro, I can't get a place on my own. I don't have a job. I've never done my taxes, like none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're never gonna let me. I was like, get a place and I'll fucking pay for it, and I'll just give you, I'll give you like a certain amount of meth. Like, I'll give you like a ball a week or something. He'd be like, hell yeah, all right. So, and he had a construction job. He was a foreman. He was building homes in like Blackhawk and shit. So he's like building these big homes and shit. He has a good ass job. So I'm like, this is perfect. Fast forward like a year, 2 years, somewhere a year and a half. This motherfucker one day just stays in it, and he's on drugs hella bad. Now he's lost weight hella, like he got turned out bad because once he started doing drugs, he started hanging out with other people that do drugs, and they were just doing drugs all the time. He lost like 30, 40 pounds. And one day I kept paying him for the rent. And one day I got a knock on the door, and it was the sheriff's office. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, you're being evicted. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Because I'm thinking the rent's paid. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, your rent hasn't been paid in 4 months. And I'm like, motherfucker, bro. And I was like, are you serious? And from that day, I had to move all my shit out. I had to go get a storage. So I got a storage. I ended up getting like a hotel room. And I just stayed in a hotel. And then I don't know, it's weird the way things line up, bro, because like at that time I bought I think it was either a pound or a half pound of some bad dope. It wasn't good. And I got rid of like some of it, and then I got just bad feedback, and nobody wanted it anymore. They're like, call me back when you get some different shit. I'm like, oh fuck, all right. So then I tried to get it back to my boy, and he's like, I'm not taking it. So I had a hard time selling it, to the point where like basically it sold so slow that I ended up spending like, I don't know, I'd say like 7-8 months in a hotel, but I'm paying like, I don't know, $130, $140 a night every single night for like it was like 6 or 7 months, something like that. And food and everything, and I'm not making my money back in time. So eventually it turned into a situation, it was a long dying, but over time it turned into where I was like, damn, this is my last fucking night at a hotel and I have no money left. The fuck am I gonna do? And then I just ended up being homeless for like 9 months, bro. That shit sucked. So I was homeless for 9 months. And then in that experience, there was a time where there was this dude that I used to treat kind of badly, like, and he had a family and shit, but like, I didn't treat him badly. I just wouldn't give him fronts, and I'd be rude to him every now and then. But sometimes I'd be hella cool to him. And there was a time where I was homeless where he let me stay with him and his family for like a month, and he had no business doing that. And I thought about how I treated him, and I thought about like how I degraded him a couple times, not a lot, but a couple times. You know what I'm saying? Just having that superior attitude, like I got money and I'm a drug dealer and you're a fucking dope fiend and fucking, you know what I'm saying? And for him to turn around and help me, I remember one day I sat there and I talked to him. His name was I'm like, and I was hella cool with this little boy, this girl and shit. And I was just like, I was thinking about it. I was like, why'd you help me, bro? It's like, you got no business helping me, bro. I was rude to you. I fucking didn't front you. I fucking like, he's like, He's like, I don't know, Shad. He's like, even though, yeah, that's true. He's like, I could just see you're a good person deep down, bro. You're a good person. I don't know. For some reason, I just want to help you. And from that moment on, I just kind of started seeing things a little bit different because I felt like I didn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? I should not be under a roof right now. It's raining. Like, I should be out in the street. Like, thank you. And so it made me just see things different. It made me see the flaws in myself. And like, I used to sell dope to pregnant women and I didn't even think about it, bro. I sold dope to a lady named that was pregnant, got pregnant while I was selling her dope, and I sold her dope throughout her entire pregnancy and never, not once thought that I was doing something wrong. It never even crossed my mind until much later. Now I'm homeless. Now I'm having all these revelations and like, I don't know. I came out of that experience a different person. I came out a better person, but it did suck though. But I don't know. It's just one of those weird things that I went through. But
Wow.
it made me a better person for sure.
That story took an ugly turn, but it had a good ending. And yeah, I think that's one thing that we don't talk about a lot of time. I think honestly, bro, like I understand the survival reasons of it, and obviously the culture of being a hustler and some of the things that come from it. And you know, hey, some of the good things economically it was able to do for people that wouldn't have been able to do it.
Right.
Like hip hop being one of them. Like a lot of people got their start from
absolutely
somebody flipping a sack.
Oh yeah, Eazy-E, NWA.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have gangster rap. You know what I mean? So
I do think that the older I get, especially once you understand like the wider implications of like how drugs really work in the world economy, participating in that is some pretty evil shit.
I feel like once you know,
Right.
like once you have
Right.
that level
Once you
of
know better.
Once you know in your heart,
you
and
can't
once
judge
have
somebody
that-
who's just trying to survive and doing what
right.
they got to
That's
do.
different. That's
Yeah.
different. And it's also different to yeah, I know versus like no, I know.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference. Like
I think
like,
even if you don't know though, it still does something to your soul to
absolutely.
be involved in
Well,
that.
I'm a big believer in karma. So I'm, absolutely. It does something to your soul. You know what I mean? Everything good and bad you do, it walks around with you. It's a little trail
sure.
behind you. You can't see it, but it's there. You know what I mean? And it's going to come back up eventually at some point or another, this life or the next.
Well said.
You know?
All right, so this has been an interesting conversation so far. I think now it's a good time to go back for some more East CoCo follow-up stuff.
Okay.
I had some questions. Definitely the fans had a lot of questions too. First off, you mentioned that you were working on this solo album with Woodie that didn't come to fruition. Do you guys have any unreleased songs that are out there?
So I haven't kept in touch with Jody. Jody's Wood's mom.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like Little D talks to Jody, Davina talks to Jody, and I'm close with both of those two. So not too long ago, it was probably like a year ago, I guess Jody was able to grab some old, because I had like, when I stopped doing my album with Wood, I want to say I had 4 songs, and it's funny because I had a song. The song I remember the most was a song called Paranoid. I had a song called Paranoid on there, and I have a song called Paranoid on my new album too. But I had a song called Paranoid on there, and that was actually my favorite song. And about a year ago, Davina hit me up and was like, "Hey, Shad, Jody was wanting to put out one more last thing from Wood. I guess she has a couple verses, and she found a couple of your songs, and she wants to talk to you." And I was like, "What? She wants to use my songs?" She was like, "She does," and I was like, yeah, I guess I lied last time, because remember I told you I was like, I'm not willing to give her anything else. When I said that about Jody, I said, go ahead, she could have it. And I was like, so she's like, for real, you'll give it to her? I was like, she could have it. I'm like, she's already taken everything else. What's one more song? Take it. I was like, go ahead and take it. And I mean, I'm working on new music anyways, and she can have it. Okay. And so I don't know how far along that is. Like, but I do remember that was only like a year ago. So It could be something that's still in the process, but that's about as much as I know. But to my knowledge, yeah, she had like a couple verses from him. Not much. She didn't have like a great body of work where she could put out a whole album, but she had a couple verses, and she had some songs from me, and I guess she had some old stuff from maybe like B-Dawg or Los, and she wanted to put out something, and I told her she had my permission to do that.
Wow. Well, I'm sure the fans will be excited about that if it comes together.
I'll talk to Davina, actually. I'll talk to Davina and see if that's the case. If that's still the case.
What is the connection between East CoCo Records and San Francisco? Because on the front cover, it says Antioch, the sign, and then there's a San Francisco sign. I know there's a couple Frisco rappers on there, but is there something more to that?
It was kind of like a Yacht to the Bay thing, but at the same time, I mean, AZ, Young AZ is official. He's official East CoCo. I mean, he was one of us, and he's from Frisco. So we used to go out there a lot. So we used to go out to his hood out there and hang out with all them. We hung out with them several times. So we'd be in Frisco a lot. We got arrested out there. We went to jail out there. Was it 850? Is it 850?
Right over there.
Yeah.
2 blocks that way.
He got locked up in 850 one night. Like, so we used to be out here a lot. Like we used to be out in Frisco a lot. And then as far as, but that's about it. I mean, AZ, High Yellow Black, everybody that was on like Mob Living is the only like Frisco. It's all Frisco. Ruby Blue, MD, like, so a lot of they are all from Frisco too, and they weren't official East CoCo, but they were on the albums a lot, and so they were just always with us. And AZ and Boonk were official East CoCo, and they're from Frisco, so it was just like a Antioch. That's where we'd either be in Antioch or we'd be in Frisco.
Gotcha. So it's just representing the Bay type thing. Did y'all ever link up with or have any plans to link up with Gold Toast and Black and Brown and what he was doing?
No, I don't know. That never, as far as I know, I don't know if Gold Toes and Wood ever met, but not in my presence, not as far as I knew. I never, no, we never did anything with them, as far as I know.
I thought that was
well, I know Wood never did because it would be out, and I never did. To be honest, I didn't actually meet Gold Toes for the first time, and I've never met him in person. I met Toes through a video call last year for the first time.
Interesting. Okay, I was just curious if y'all had ever crossed paths.
No, I really don't know him.
An interesting song is by Woodie is Tales of a Killa. Last time we did touch on the Killa Chronicles documentary, and shout out to Killa Chronicles because they commented. And they showed love.
Did they?
Yeah, they showed love on our last podcast episode. Did you have any reaction to hearing that song for the first time in terms of like the stories that he was telling there and the connection?
Well,
to
no,
real
I mean,
events?
by the time that song came out, I mean, I already knew about it. You know what I mean? Because especially that second verse, that's a factual verse. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he got locked up for, and that's why he couldn't come to Antioch, and that it was for that. You know, it was for the Taco Bell incident. So, no, I mean, you know, me and Wood had a whole conversation on that whole, like, he told me every single thing that happened that night. And so, and like the dude he's talking about, the dude that was driving the car, then what'd he say? Then he just stopped, froze, like he was comatose. I said, it's not the time to break down like a hoe. Let's go, right? And he finally put the pedal to the metal, but that tripped me out. And I said about a half mile down the road, pull over and let me out. So, right? So he's like, because dude, like, that was, he was part of us, and he was young though, but he froze up, and he literally just, that whole shit happened. He took the cops on a slow speed chase. Basically the cops they're basically behind, you know, with the on the bullhorn, because he's driving hella slow and he finally stops. But he drove hella slow for like a couple miles, like super slow, not even a high speed chase. That's why he said slow speed chase. Then he proceeds to take him on a slow speed chase. 25, I'm gonna face, the DA's got a clean case, right? So he's driving hella slow and he finally pulls over, and I guess he gets out of the car backwards like this with his hands up because they're telling, and then he takes off, and everything in that second verse is true.
But did you have any reaction to him saying that on record, or you just
no? Because I thought it was hella dope. When he first showed it to me, I was like, bro, that's so sick. Like, I was more just like, bro, because I'd already known the story. Like, he had already told me the whole story. Like, I already knew about it, and it didn't surprise me that he made the song, because I know him. You know what I'm saying? So when he made the song, I was more just like, damn, this is dope, bro. This shit's fire. Like, I was more like congratulatory. I'm like, bro, this shit, I think this is my favorite song right now. Like, I love that song. To this day, I love that song. But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were asking about that.
But no, because it's like I said, because we're so locked in at that time, I already know the story. We've already talked about it. He talked about it to me before he made the song. So then when he made the song, I wasn't shocked that he made the song, because I know him. I know his personality. I know who he is as a person. It didn't surprise me. But how dope the song was, and how just the way the storytelling, he tells a story, you could see it in your mind. Like, you know what I mean? And I was just more like congratulatory towards him, because it's a great song. I love that song.
Since we last spoke, there's been a pretty major update.
Yeah, Snoop
has gotten some good news. It was crazy because I think I saw some other blogs like posting our clip talking about it, how we were asking about his appeals and all that,
Right.
But apparently he's got some good news for his case.
Yeah, so to my understanding, he's gonna get out in about 2.5 years. To my understanding, they say 5, but he'll get out in like 2.5 or something like that. But
do you know what was the reason?
He had to. Well, I don't know how it got to this point. I know he's had a lawyer working with him. From my understanding, he had to take a plea of no contest. So, unfortunately, what that does mean is that you can't file a lawsuit for unlawful imprisonment if you take a no contest, which I'm pretty sure they wouldn't let him out if he didn't take a no contest, because they'd owe him a lot of money. They're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I mean, that's the good news. I mean, he's gonna be out in like 2.5 years, something like that.
I guess we'll know more details on that as that gets closer. But have you been in communication with him while he's been locked up?
I've written him maybe not that many times. Like, I'll be honest, not that many times. And then I tried to this was like 10 years ago. I tried to get on the visitors list, because he wanted me to get on the visitors list. And I was trying to get on the visitors list, and they denied me twice. And then I never tried again.
Well, one big question that I got to ask, and we talked a little bit about it offline, and this is something I didn't really want to touch the first time around, but now that we got to know each other a little better, we talked more about it, I feel comfortable. She'll be able to speak on it. But there's an alleged confession tape that Woodie made to attempt to exonerate Snoop. A lot of people were curious if that's a true story or what's behind that.
There's some truth behind that. No, there is a little bit of truth behind that. So there was he did make a tape before he passed. I didn't get to see it, so I know. I don't want to divulge everything he said in that tape. Lil Los saw the tape, and I had a lengthy conversation with Lil Los after, and he told me everything. And so it's secondhand information, but I trust him. And so, yeah. But to my understanding, I mean, so this is what I've heard. You know, I can't say for a fact. You know, to my understanding, Jody destroyed that, and I don't know why she'd do that, but she destroyed it. I guess I don't know why. Maybe doesn't want Wood to be seen in a certain light, but he's gone. You know, so to my understanding, that evidence has been thoroughly like burnt and destroyed.
Do you recall? I can't recall who was I don't know where it came. This tape, like how that hit the internet, like the knowledge of it. I don't know who put that out there.
I don't know. But things get out. I mean,
I think that's another thing that was in the Killer Chronicles documentary that they spoke on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
I think AWACS.
AWACS mentioned it. He mentioned it in one of his raps.
Put that out there.
He mentioned it in one of his raps because, well, I mean, because we, like, the people that were close with Wood, like, we've all had like these conversations, like, you know what I mean? There's certain things that I can say and certain things I can't or won't say, like, but like we've all had these conversations. Like I've had, like, even Tone, like, you know, I've had deep, long, lengthy conversations with Tone, and when we were in a different space, that where we talked a lot about this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so Wax knows. We all basically know similar stuff. Like between me, Wax, Tone, Lil D, Lil Los, Lou, B-Dawg also. That's right. AZ a little bit, but like those people, we kind of know a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And so Wax, he knows about it to a certain degree. You know, none of us know everything.
But that tape, so it no longer exists.
No longer. To my understanding, from what I've been told, Jody burned it. Jody destroyed it.
Yeah, I mean, to not go into any more detail than you shared about it, it's also like, I think it should also be said that a tape like that is not necessarily a get out of jail free card, because one, even I don't know what's on it, but if you know, a confession on a video is not necessarily like gonna instantly get him out.
Right.
It would have, and then also I think it's really tricky once you've been convicted of something, like you can't retry the facts of the case. You can only retry the legal procedure of it.
Right, unless new evidence pops up or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
I think I don't know.
I'm not even sure, bro.
I watch a lot of crime documentary shit.
It basically, I say all that to say it's complicated.
Right.
But usually appeals are not made on the facts. They're made on the law.
Right.
Or sometimes laws change, and you know, sentencing guidelines change, stuff like that. So I think fans should kind of maybe adjust their expectations a little bit about what all that implicates. But
right. Well, but even the witness, you know, he had reddish blonde hair. Snoop's never had reddish blonde hair. He has brown hair. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know. The whole thing is, I mean, it's a heartbreaking situation, you know, and I just feel like, man, if he did all that time, he should at least be eligible to get some type of like money, but
yeah,
you know, but I don't think that's gonna. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. I don't think that's gonna happen, man. So I just think it's a blessing that he's getting out. It's once you're in there for that long, I mean, the whole world's changed. You know what I mean? So when he went in, there were no cell phones. You know, think about that. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? There were no cell phones. There wasn't no YouTube. People didn't have laptops. Like the whole world done changed. You know what I mean? So I want to, you know, like he's got, like, there are other of us, like Lil Los is closer to him than I am. Bobby is closer to him than I am. But we do definitely have a friendship, and we've kept in touch this whole time. And I would like to coordinate something with the people that really care about him to try to do something for him or help him out or set up a GoFundMe or something.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would love to support something like that too.
Yeah, I would really like to do that. But I want to talk to his family about it. I don't want to do it you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, on another note, I found a post on your Instagram, and I was like, why didn't this dude bring this up when we was on the podcast? But there's actually a story between Woodie and Mac Dre.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was when we were kids, bro. Like, so me and Wood, because I think me and Wood really started hanging out around age 15, something like that. And so he's, like I said, he taught me how to rap and everything. So like, he actually turned me on to Mac Dre. He liked Mac Dre. He was a huge Mac Dre fan. And then I became a Mac Dre fan. And then like when Mac Dre went to jail for the Romper Room robberies, I don't know what made him decide to do it, but Wood started writing him. He wrote him a letter and basically told him, hey, you know, I'm from Antioch, you know, white, you know, I'm trying to rap. I'm trying to start this record label. You know, I'm a Northerner. It tells him his whole spiel, you know, and tells him he's a fan and this and that. Man, I don't remember the letter verbatim, you know, but he wrote him a letter and Mac Dre wrote him back. And I was at home. And I remember he called me because at this time, me and Wood, when we were like young, we were hanging out. We hung out a lot because we just something about like definitely his best friend was Blackbird, but like something about our intellect, we just click, bro. Like our intellect, it just clicks. Like we can have long ass conversations about super nerdy, interesting shit. You know what I'm saying? So we always got a lot. So he got a letter back from Mac Dre. He calls, bro, you got to come over here. I'm like, what? He's like, bro, Mac Dre wrote me back. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. He's like, for real, bro. And fucking, I go over there and open the letter. And it was like a super positive, like, keep doing what you're doing type of thing. Like, he didn't hate on him being white at all. He was super supportive of it. And Wood was like, he was hella giddy, bro. It made his whole fucking week. It made his whole month. He was juiced. So
Mac Dre gave him like advice on
Mac Dre gave him more like inspiration. Like, dude, don't let that stop you. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like and just to and because Wood told him he's gonna start making beats, and no, Mac Dre was very supportive. I guess
pretty cool, bro.
Very supportive.
It's a cool story.
Yeah.
Well, they ended up meeting at some point, right? Because there's this tape of that Tone put out in one of his videos with Mac Dre like partying with them or something.
I think twice. They hung out twice.
Wow. Do you know if he ever got to be like, hey, bro, I wrote you that letter?
I don't know. I know they hung out twice, and he hung out with all of us, and Mac Dre was like, he thought Megan was hella fine. I remember that. Yeah, that is a trip, huh? When you think about it, like how people cross paths and shit. And
yeah, I have a few stories like that myself. I'm sure you do too, and I've heard some of your stories like that. So yeah, the Bay is a small place. So and
it is,
and our rappers are you know, really in touch with the people. So
right.
It's not that rare to cross paths with some of these dudes.
No, it's not. It's not. I see Be Legit all around Concord.
Yeah.
You're seeing him all the time.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Be Legit.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask one thing that Woodie's kind of known for, especially in his later years, is like a lot of conspiracy theories that he was investigating. A lot of stuff around that he would rap about the government and stuff like that. What would he talk to you about stuff like that?
So, Woods. That's funny because Wood started heavily getting into conspiracies. It was me, Wood, and Los. It was only us three. Lou wasn't there. It was only us three, and we were all hanging out. And there was a videotape, like a VHS videotape, you know, because it was a long time ago. So there's a VHS videotape going around underground in Antioch, and we happened to get a copy of it, and it was this. underground documentary, but it looked like there was some money put into it, but you couldn't buy it at the store. It was
no,
just.
It was the Zeitgeist. Was it Zeitgeist?
It wasn't Zeitgeist.
You
I've
know
seen
about that?
Zeitgeist. I've seen Zeitgeist.
Okay.
Bro, I love documentaries, bro. Like I said, I'm a huge nerd, bro.
I just remember Zeitgeist was one of them ones that set it off.
Zeitgeist was a big one. Yeah. I've seen Zeitgeist, bro. But it was so there were two documentaries back to back. One was called The Truth About Waco, and it was all about David Koresh and the whole Waco incident. And the other one was about the truth about JFK and the JFK assassination. And each one of them were like an hour and a half, 2 hours. This whole videotape was like 4 hours long. And we sat there and got high and we watched that whole shit, right? And I'll tell you what happened in the videotape. But by the end, like, we all felt differently because it was one of those videos where it was like, it's unmistakably real. Like, so I'll give you an example. So like, do you remember that, David Koresh, Waco? You were a kid.
Yeah, I know about it. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember it was always like a thing, a reference.
You were a kid. I was a teenager, right? So like, so it was big news, bro. It was huge news. So when that happened on the news, like on Channel 4 and Channel 3 on the news, you see there's a specific clip where there is an officer in SWAT attire. He's got his fucking vest on. He's got his helmet on and shit. And he's all by himself and he's on this roof. And it's just quickly, it goes to him. It's a video. And you see bullets flying through the people that are in the room are shooting at him. And you see it hit his helmet. And he puts his arm in there, pop, 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 and he starts shooting, right? And they're playing it off like, and the way the news is reporting it is like, this is David Koresh and his followers that are shooting at the police. But in the video I saw with the documentary, it was the exact same video, the exact same officer. But instead of a short clip, it was a longer clip. And what we all saw was 4 officers on that roof, 4 armed officers in SWAT attire, with bulletproof vests on, helmets and everything. 3 of them go in through the window. The 4th one looks behind, throws a flash grenade into the area. He throws I don't know if it's a flash grenade or a grenade, but he throws an explosive into the room where his fellow officers just walked into. Then you see bullets start flying, boom, boom, and it hits his helmet, just like the news clip I saw. And then you see him pop, 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 just like the news clip I saw. And it's unmistakably the exact same footage. It's just the news is only showing this part, but I'm getting to see what really happened. This motherfucker just killed his fellow officers, and I'm watching it. And then we go on to see the JFK shit. And it's funny because I just saw a video clip of it recently.
Like the second gunman stuff?
The gunman on the JFK was the driver, right? But we saw that. They slowed up the video and everything. And you see the driver, when JFK gets shot, you see the driver super quick go, boom. And now everything starts tying together because I'm a history buff, right? So I know all about that. Now, Jacqueline Kennedy at that time, think about it. I don't know how many times you've ever seen it, but when John F. Kennedy gets shot, she tries to get out of the fucking car. She tries to get out of the car. She tries to escape out of the back seat and get out, like slide across the trunk. And an agent, a secret agent, shoves her back in the car. And the later excuse is that she was trying to grab a piece of his head that fell. Bro, we could be brothers and I could love you, but if your head gets shot off right in front of me, I'm not trying to grab the piece of your head and glue it back together, bro. You ain't Humpty Dumpty, bro. Like, you're fucked. I got to get the fuck out of here. I will mourn you later. I'm out, bro. And so what she saw, she saw the fucking driver shoot her husband. That's why she's trying to get out of the car. You know what I'm saying? And so we're watching all this, and it's almost like the curtain behind the real world comes off. And by the time we were done watching it, all 3 of us, Los had tears in his eyes. And I'm not saying anything bad. Like, that's just, it was deeply moving. And when we watched it, by the time we were done, all 3 of us were sad as fuck and super depressed and we're like, this is the real world. Like, this is the world behind the world. This is what everybody doesn't know. These are the things that people don't see. These are the things that are top secret. These are the world is ugly. You know what I'm saying? And we already know the world is ugly, but it was almost like it. I don't know. It affected all three of us to the point where I remember talking to Los like 2 days later. He's like, bro. He's like, I've been depressed ever since watching that fucking documentary. I'm like, bro, me too. He's like, bro, I'm hella sad. I was like, me too. And I think it made Wood angry. And from that point on, he started putting little tiny conspiracy theories, like little tiny conspiracies in his raps and shit. And during like, as he got closer to his death, he got more and more into it. But it started from that documentary. It was called The Truth About Waco, and I don't remember what the other one was called, but it was about the JFK assassination, and you clearly see the driver shoot JFK in the face. Wow. And then like I said, it all ties together because the predominant story has been, oh, she was trying to grab his skull. Who does that? That makes no sense. I'm not grabbing your skull, bro. Like, that's weird. So what she saw was the driver shoot, and she's trying to escape. And so once we realized, like I said, it's the curtain, it's the world behind the world, and it made us depressed.
I haven't gotten that much into the JFK stuff. I just kind of surface level skimming. It's a really complex one. CIA, Cuba, so
all that shit.
Things. But
Jack Ruby, all the shit.
Lee Harvey. All
bro, I'm
shit.
into all that shit, bro. No.
That's interesting. I know a lot of people appreciate that kind of content from Woodie's raps. Again, like we said last time, like this dude was definitely more than just a Norte rapper, like, which is kind of what you said at the beginning
exactly.
too. Like people boxing themselves in. He had a lot more to offer than.
Right. Well, so that feature that you were talking about that you just heard on my story. Mm-hmm. So the dude who bought that feature from me, he was like, bro, you came so dope, bro. Thank you so much. And I really, because he was a Northerner. He's a Northerner at the bottom. And he's like, I really appreciate like the fact that you don't hang everything on being a Northerner. I really appreciate that. Like as a Northerner, I appreciate that. And I was like, well, here's and I remember I said this and I mean it. Like, it's like, because if you hang your whole identity on that, that's how the world sees you. Right. You know what I'm saying? But when you have other insight and intellect and like intelligent viewpoints to offer, it shows that, dude, we're more than that. We have value, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not just a bunch of fucking gang members trying to break in your fucking house. You know what I'm saying? Talking about this and that. Like, we have something to offer, bro. We're smart. You know what I'm saying? We have intelligence. We have intellect. We have foresight on things. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the more you don't box yourself in, it allows the world to see, because we're not all one thing, bro. We wear a lot of different hats. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. You said before we started rolling that you wanted to clear something up about Woodie and why he moved to Oregon.
So,
because last time I think you had said
I didn't know. Yeah. Right? Because I never. But so, yeah. So that's funny too, because like, so Wood has a cousin named Jim. Okay. Me and Jim also grew up together, and me and Jim were pretty much as close as me and Wood. Jim's one of my best friends in life. Like, if I think about the history of all my friends that I've ever had, he's one of my best friends in my whole life. Like, me and Jim were super close. He's also a Northerner. He's Wood's cousin. When I was like there was a certain point where I was on drugs kind of bad, but I was always balling, so I never considered myself on drugs like the way other people are on drugs, because I don't buy my shit. Like, I'm balling. I got hella money. Like, but truth is, I'm on drugs, right? And so when I'm on drugs at this time, I do a lot of drugs with Jim. Me and Jim are like drug buddies, but we're also like real friends. That's my homeboy. You know what I mean? So he ended up, we're just a little bit different. You know, I was able to like stop all by myself, just me. Like, I don't need a program, or I'm stubborn. Where and Jim ended up kind of having to go away, and he went to Oregon, and I actually kind of completely forgot about that. And that's like he actually hit me on Messenger, and he said basically, I'll actually read part of it. I'll read part of it, but this is, let's see. It's here. It says, hey, I just watched that part where you didn't know why Wood was in Oregon. He came here to Florence with me to visit my parents and get away. And then like 6 months later, he stops by my work in Anderson and said he's on his way to Florence and he's moving there to get away from everything and focus on the music. So that's why that's why he had went there.
Got you.
Yeah, and I'd forgotten Jim even went out there because, like I said, me and Jim are close. Like, so I did want to clear that up because I guess like I didn't know, but all I had to do was ask somebody. You know what I mean?
Sorry, give me one
No,
second.
you're good, bro.
Because now you just reminded me. Some people have been sending me messages like, ask him about this. And I was there at this house party. Somebody said something about a house party. I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh, no, it's all good.
To whoever that is, I lost your message. My bad. But I'm glad we cleared that up at least. Yeah,
right. That's why he was going to Florence to go. He was going to try to live there, and because like
oh no, I did write that other question down. Okay, I'll get to that later.
Okay. Because I was also cool. So Jim's dad is also named Jim, and I grew up like even like spending the night at the house sometimes. Like we were like I'm hella cool with the family. So basically, I guess Jim's parents moved there. I didn't know that, but they moved out to Oregon. So Wood was out there to visit basically Jim, who's his cousin, and his aunt and uncle, and see if he liked it out there. And then he was going to move to Florence and focus on the music. That's why he was moving out there, to get away from, because there was a lot of drama that was happening out here in this area for him. And so he moved out that way. He was going to move out that way.
Well, another strange incident is that Woodie's headstone went missing.
Oh man. So, as far as official members of East CoCo, obviously Wood, myself, Lil Los, Louie Lou, B-Dawg, Young AZ, and the Konu, and the final members was the very last member of East CoCo was the dude named Storm. And Storm didn't come around. Storm was finally featured on any part 5, I think. I don't think he was featured on 4. He was featured on 5, and then 5, 6, and 7. And then and Wood met him a little late. And I remember when Wood met him, and he had me because I was gonna come record, so I stayed the weekend out there. He's like, "Oh, bro, Storm's gonna be out here." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I keep hearing you talk about it." He's like, "Bro, he's hella cool. You're gonna like him." And I was like, in the moment I met Storm, hella cool. Me and Storm vibed like right away. We were good friends from the moment we met, and he's part of East CoCo. And when after like 10 years after Wood died, maybe, Storm has a big heart, man. Or he just died. I just went to his funeral actually recently. But he has a big heart, man, and he Wood never had a headstone. He always wanted to be buried on East 18th Street. He even did that song, bury me on East 18th Street. So, and I'm not going to fault her, but for whatever her reasons with Jody, she didn't like honor that wish at all. You know what I mean? So she has his ashes. He's not buried, and so Storm wanted to respect his wishes in a way by buying a headstone for him and putting it at the cemetery on East 18th Street. And he did. He had his picture on there. Everybody kind of went in on it, but Storm put the most on it. And he even had a celebration there. I don't know how long it took, maybe within a couple years, but they like broke it, destroyed it, and stole pieces of it. But
So that was some haters.
Yeah, either some Southerners or just some haters. And he was going to do another one, but Wood's mom asked him not to, so he didn't.
Damn. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. And Storm was solid as fuck. Well, Storm, he's a good dude, man. Like, he just died like, it was this year. I just went to his funeral probably like 3 months ago. So Storm just passed.
Rest in peace, bro.
Yeah, rest in peace, Storm, man.
Well, I want to turn to something that I know people are really waiting for. And there's been like people have damn near been pounding on my door trying to get me to ask you about some of the other people that were on or affiliated with East CoCo. And I thought it would be cool to kind of go through this list and kind of discuss from your recollection how they got down with East CoCo and then an update on where they are now, if you can.
Oh, yeah. I'll try. Yeah, I'll do my best. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure you know the main person that motherfuckers want to know about just nonstop is Lil Los.
Lil Los.
So how did he become part of East CoCo, and what's the latest update on him?
So Lil Los, I mean, really, Lil Los was around before me in the sense that, like, not necessarily around Wood like that, or maybe he was. I don't know. So Lil Los. Okay, so you have Wood and Blackbird, who grew up like best friends, right? Blackbird had two brothers. Sorry, there's three of them together, but two brothers. So there's Blackbird, there's Raymond, who ended up in the wheelchair, and then there's Bobby. Bobby's the little brother, and like I said, it's a family, it's a lineage thing. Like Blackbird's dad is Northern, you know what I mean? So like, Bobby, the youngest brother, and Lil Los were best friends growing up. So they grew up together. Like, I don't know how young, but I know they were hanging out at like 9, 10, 11, so like young, you know what I mean? And so they were best friends. And because Bobby and Los are brothers, Wood's like a member of the family. He just walk in their house. You know what I mean? So he knew Bobby is like his little brother also. Raymond is like his brother also. You know what I mean? So, as they got a little bit older, old enough to kick it, you know how that goes, right?
Yeah.
Like as they got old enough to kick it, they started kicking it, and Lil Los had a talent for rapping, and he's already one of, like, he's one of us. He's already part of the family, probably more so than I am, like, because he grew up with the whole Blackbird household, like, you know what I'm saying? So he was just, as he came of age, he started hanging out with us, and as Wood built East CoCo, the people who wanted to give it a shot gave it a shot, and then Lil Los was one of them, Lou was one of them, and
Yeah, I was listening to some of his raps after our last episode. I'm like, dude actually had bars. He was pretty good.
Rap.
Yeah,
he could rap.
So everyone really wants to know what he's up to these days.
Lil Los, so basically, like, when Wood died, when Wood died, Lil Los just basically stopped rapping. Like, he didn't want to do it no more. So, like, it's funny because, like, a while back, I should have looked for it, because years ago now, because I had a long conversation with Los like 2 years ago, and then, like, I don't know how long ago, probably like 4 or 5 years ago now, he put out a lengthy post on Facebook and shared it with me, because hell of people kept asking. And so he put this long explanation on why he stopped. And I have it somewhere. It's in my Facebook somewhere, but Facebook, it's in my Facebook, not my Instagram. But anyways, he just felt like he was already going to school. Like, I don't know what he does. Like, I'm not sure if he's like a computer IT guy, but something like in that area. And he does very well for himself. Like, he has a family, he's married, he has like 2 or 3 kids. And he was always kind of shy about rapping. He more did it the way he explained it on my Facebook post. He said that he was always kind of apprehensive about it, and that he only did it because he's with all of us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a family thing, and he's doing it with all of us. But once Wood died, it just didn't feel right for him to rap no more. He just took it very personal, and just, it's not a part of him in that sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Los is super artistic though, and like he's another one. Like, he created the East CoCo logo. He drew it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just very artistic, and he can rap. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, with me, if I stop rapping, because I've stopped several times, 5 years even, I'll start getting depressed. It's like a part of me. Like, I need it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some people have the opposite. Like, some people, I think, especially when you've been through some shit and you had high hopes and expectations and dreams of rapping, or you affiliated with like people who are no longer here, then it has the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Then it makes you depressed.
Absolutely.
And I deal with that. I don't remember if I said this on the last podcast or not, but like, sometimes people ask me about certain people, and I'm like, dude, I've hit them up, and they're like, they're cool. Like, they moved on. Like,
They don't want nothing to do with it.
They don't want nothing to do with rap. They're over it. They got a career. They got a family.
Right.
And you can't blame somebody.
No,
for
not
that
at all.
At all. And actually, it's pretty dope. It's that's a nice, like, especially when you come from like gangbanging and all that shit, to like turn that around. So shout out to Lil Los.
No, shout
That's
out to
dope.
Lil Los, man. No, he lives a good life, man. He lives a life that, you know, a lot of people would envy. I mean, that dude's been in love. with her forever. I don't want to say her name, but I almost just did just naturally. But she's a sweetheart. He's been in love with her since forever. They've been together forever. They have a solid ass marriage, solid family, kids. I mean, he has the life that a lot of people would envy. It's cool. I'm happy for him. You know what I'm saying? And I did try to, because when Wax came back out with the Northern Exposure, he kind of like, I don't mean used me in a negative sense, but he kind of used me to reach out to everybody else, because me and Wax have like, throughout the history, we and him always had a good personal relationship. Like every now and then we'll talk on the phone and chop it up and shit. So he reached out to me to reach out to Los. Like, you gotta get him. So I tried. He won't do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people are
it.
like really firm on that. Like, yo, this part is over. I closed that chapter.
Yeah, he won't do it.
Yeah,
we had a good conversation. We ended up talking for 2 hours on some friend shit.
Yeah.
But he did not. Well, he's like, I'm good, bro. I'm good. No. I'm like, all right. I'm not gonna push you. Piss you off. I'm not going to, I get it. I respect it. It's fine,
Another person that people want to know the history of and an update on is Louis Lou. You mentioned him.
Louis Lou. Yeah, man. So Louis, as far as, I've talked to Louis very recently. So Louis doing pretty good right now. From my understanding, I don't know if he's working or what he's doing like for finances, but I know he's stable. He's got his own place, and he's doing good. He doesn't so that's kind of so Lou would like to come back into rap, if that's part of the question. Like, he would like to come back to rap, but he doesn't have a full outlet to do that. It's just kind of like me. Like, I got a dope ass album coming out, but it's been a serious struggle. You know what I mean? But like, I've always worked and stuff. So, I'll slowly get to my goal pretty much every time. It'd just be slower than I originally intended, But with Lou, I don't know that he has he has the resources to make the albums, then make the music that he wants to. We've already spoken. And if I'm able to keep going, like if this album does good enough for me to justify, like, okay, I can pay for another one and I can keep going, then Lou wants to like start making music again. So but yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be comments like, come on, let's go, I'll buy it right now.
No, that's really the truth though, because like for me, as far as like, and like, I know we're gonna come right back to that. It's just for me, like, I'm at a point where this is either the beginning or it's the end. You know what I mean? I'm kind of in one of those boats where it's like, I've given everything to getting this album out and getting a quality album out for the past like year and a half. And I had to stop going to the gym. I've lost my fitness. I'm kind of like miserable on a regular basis, and I just can't do it again. So if this album doesn't sell and justify me making another one, then it'll be the end. But I have a feeling that's not going to happen, because it's a really good album. But if it does, if I am able to keep going, then yeah, Lou wants to come in. Lou wants to come back. I got projects that I'm talking about. Me and Kev Knox have been talking about doing some projects. Me and Raider already got an album we want to put out. I got a couple of things going on, but Lou, yeah, bringing back Lou is on the list. It's just, it's dependent on how I do, basically.
I think it's a new beginning. I'm gonna say this on record now, so that you can't escape this, because we talked about it on text. You got to do a release party for your album, bro. You got to do it, bro. Even if 50 people show up, it's the best way to make money as an artist, is doing a show, bro.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if you want to see a Shadow authentic release party, if you would buy a ticket in Northern California, there's people right now that are like, I will fly in from Germany for this.
That's crazy.
If you want to see that happen, leave a comment, flood this man's message, because I'm trying to give him some game. And he's like, nah, I don't know. I'm like, bro, throw an album.
Well,
any rapper, throw an album release
party. I text
party.
you back. I'm like, I don't be thinking nobody's going to show up.
They're going to show up, bro. You just did hella numbers on this podcast. You're going to do hella numbers on this episode. Throw a show. If you want to see that show, leave a comment, send this guy a fucking message so that you believe. If you're willing to buy a ticket, raise your hand, basically.
I appreciate that.
So But no, for real though, like that is the best way to make money.
Right.
As an art, you could probably make damn near your whole budget back in one successful event. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so with Louie Lou, did he grow up with you in Antioch too?
Yeah.
Or
So
he was part of your
Louie
crew?
Lou is him and his family are originally from Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he came out here when he was like probably like 12, 13, something like that. I met Lou. Lou's like my big homie. So Lou's one of my big homies. So like I met Lou when I met Lou way before Wood. I met Lou when I was either 12. I was probably 12. I think I was 12 and he was like 15. And I was friends. It's kind of a similar situation with Lil Los and Bobby. I was friends with Lou's younger brother, Josh. Me and Josh are the same age. Louie's the older brother. And I was hell of good friends with Josh. So Josh be like, hey, bro, come over to the house. We're going to barbecue. I'll be like, hell yeah. And I come over and eventually I become friends with his older brother. And me and Lou started hanging out. Yeah, I've been hanging out with Lou since I was like 13 years old, bro. Since I was like a little kid, 12, 13 years old, bro. So I've known Lou a long time.
Yeah, I kind of figured like a lot of these histories is just y'all grew up together.
Yeah, we grew up together.
What's the story of D Smalls? Because he is listed as the co-executive producer.
Right. So that's one thing. Okay, so that was a fact Lou checked me on. So, because like I said, I didn't speak to Wood the last, like we did get in that fight and we didn't talk the last like probably 4 months of his life. We didn't speak. And so Lou he was like, hey, bro, you got something wrong on that podcast? I was like, what? He's just like, well, you got a couple things wrong. I'm like, yeah, what? And he tried to tell me about that Jerry Graham. And I'm like, I was there for Jerry Graham. You didn't even go to school. He's like, all right, okay, maybe you're right, but you were wrong about this. And I'm like, okay, so what I do got to say that he said I'm wrong about and I'm probably wrong about. D Smalls was the executive producer. When Wood started everything, D Smalls was the executive producer. But I did not speak to Wood the last 4, maybe even 5 months of his life. We didn't speak. We are not on speaking terms. So Lou told me that Wood cut D Smalls from ownership of East CoCo the last the last year of his life. Like that's what he told me. He's like, so you got that wrong. I was like, for real? I was like, but D Smalls started it. He's like, he did start it. He's like, but by the time Wood died, he's like, he didn't own it anymore. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. But that's what Lou told me.
So what was his role in starting the label?
Executive producer, funding.
Okay.
Funding, executive producer.
So D Smalls is like another guy you grew up with, basically.
No, D Smalls is way older than us.
Oh, yeah?
No, Wood, when Wood lived in Antioch, he used to live in a neighborhood called Silverado, and on Silverado, Jim McCoy, which is his cousin that I told you I was close with, lived on Silverado. Javier lived on Silverado. His brother George. A bunch of Filipinos that we were all close with, and there was like it had its own group. A lot of them were Northerners, but the Filipinos weren't. But they were kind of like a sub part of our group because they grew up around, like, you know what I mean. And so with D Smalls was married to a lady named Darlene, and Darlene was the mother of Eddie, and Eddie used to kick it with all of us. And you ever have your friend's house where it's like everybody has a friend where it's like, this is the neighborhood house, all of the friends can come here, and the mom is cool with all the kids.
Yeah,
and okay,
definitely.
Darlene and Dave Small's house was that house.
Okay.
So like the first time I ever bought a sack of weed when I was like 11 or 12, I bought it off D Smalls. So yeah, like it's just he's basically the parent of one of our youngest homeboys that grew up in that neighborhood.
Got you.
But he's the step parent, because Darlene, those are Darlene's kids, and they're not his kids technically. Only one of them is his kids, or two of them, but he raised them. So he was like their dad. And so
he just he was balling enough.
Yeah, like when I bought my first weed sack off him, I was like 12 years old. He was already like 35. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a grown ass man.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But then I guess at some point they went their separate ways with the label.
I guess so. Like, so I guess in the last, while I wasn't talking to Wood, I guess Wood had cut D Smalls from the label, according to Lou. Like,
Did he
I
have-
didn't personally know about that.
Did he have any role in the music or just
No,
just
musically,
financing?
no, just finances.
Another person people want to know about is B-Dawg.
B-Dawg?
Yeah. What's his history with the label? Is he also from Antioch?
Nope. B-Dawg's from Concord.
Okay.
B-Dawg grew up in Concord, and I actually met B-Dawg. So when my parents divorced, my mom and dad divorced, my dad moved to Concord, and my brother lived with my dad, and I lived with my mom. But I was about 15 at the time and just getting old enough to like drive and shit. So I was driving him. I'd drive my brother to my mom's house and stuff, and I'd go hang out with him, and he started making friends out there, and he ended up, because my brother saw a bunch of Northerners growing up, he kind of gravitated that to when he went to Concord. So he started kicking it with a group called Dog Pound, which was a bunch of Northerners from Concord. And B-Dawg was part of Dog Pound. And so I met B-Dawg through my brother, but even though me and B-Dawg were the same age, I just didn't know him because I'm from Antioch. He's from here, he's from Concord. So I met him through my brother, and then I'm not sure how he met Wood, but I knew like eventually he became part of East CoCo, but he's not from Antioch. He's from a totally different clique. He's not 20th Street. He's not from Antioch. He's from Concord. He's from he was from an old crew called Dog Pound.
You guys still make music together, huh?
No.
Oh, no?
No, B-Dawg hasn't. I did approach B-Dawg for my album way when I first started making it, and he told me, because he did some prison time. He just got out of prison. He did like 4 or 5 years or some shit, like maybe 3.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. He did some prison time, and when he got out, he just kind of settled down. He's got a girl. He's got a 9-to-5, and I don't think he's ever lived that type of life before. Well, I know he never lived that type of life before, and I feel like he feels like at peace and settled. And he told me he was just retired, that he didn't want to fuck with the music no more. And I was just like, all right.
There you go.
And he's super talented too.
Yeah.
B-Dawg just has one of those smooth cadences. His voice and his flow is just
Yeah, I
it's
thought
on
he was
point.
pretty tight on some of those.
Yeah, he's pretty
records.
dope. He's pretty dope.
There's a dude who has a interesting YouTube channel where he basically just drives his
Droop.
car. How did you know I was going to say that?
Drew, because he grew up with us.
No, but you just knew off the his channel.
Because I
off
know
the-
Drew.
Okay.
Like,
So his channel, just for those who don't know, is him just basically driving around Antioch, bumping Woodie's music and telling stories.
yep.
So people were asking like to get some info on you.
Man,
your
I love
history.
Drew. Man, I love that dude. So Droop is a character. His name's Drew. We call him Droop, but he grew up with us. He grew up from the beginning. He knows Snoop. He knew Nate. He grew up with all of us. He knows everybody. And so like he was part of us from the very, very beginning. And so like he was just always around, and he likes to, like, Drew is a really amazing storyteller. So he's actually I wish he would get back on it, because he was writing like either a book or a play. Like, this dude is super talented. Like he's fascinated with Italian mafia shit. So he can break down the history of the entire Italian mob.
Yeah, I'm like that too.
Faction
I
by
got all
faction,
that-
family
yeah.
by family,
I
who
studied all that
who
shit
took
too.
over after this boss, and who was the skipper at this time. He knows all that shit.
Yeah.
And so like he was gonna he was writing like a full blown like a play, and like it was either a play or a book, and he was working on it, and he let me see some of it, and it was really good, bro. And I don't know what he's doing now. I just know I know he's got some like a couple problems. I keep meaning to check on him, but he likes to tell stories about Wood, and all those stories are true. And he's so. Have you watched some of those videos?
Yeah, a couple of them.
He tells
Yeah.
good stories. It's the way he tells stories.
Yeah.
He's so good with it.
I like
yeah.
the vibes, just East Bay white boy telling his tales. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Drew's a good dude, man. Drew's like, I don't know, man. It's funny how times change. Like I got a story about Drew, and it's not a bad story. I mean, it's like, so like, it's just like the way we were back then. Like, so one day we were all walking. It was like me. It was nighttime. Me, Wood, Drew, fucking Los, fuck, I don't remember. I remember we were like 10 deep and we were just walking because I don't think we had a car at the time. We were walking. And we get into some beef, like talking shit with this black dude, and him and Drew start getting into it. And they start deciding that, well, maybe they're going to fight. And dude's tripping like we're going to jump him and shit. You know what I mean? And we didn't. And we let him fight. And Drew held his own, but he lost that fight, you know? And the black dude had hands, you know what I mean? And we let him leave. Like, you know what I'm saying? That like times are just different. Like, I don't think that would happen anymore. Like, and cause he started talking a little bit of shit. We're like, hey bro, this could all turn over right now. He's like, oh, all right, I'm leaving. Like, you know what I'm saying? like we could change our mind right now, bro. It's like 10 of us. You'd be fucked. Like, you should probably leave. He's like, all right, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? But we let him throw hands, and our boy lost, and we didn't jump him. We just let him walk. You know what I mean? But I don't think you don't see things like that anymore.
Yeah.
But
I've
Drew
been
took
there,
it. Drew took it like a champ, and they shook hands and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Drew, man, I got a lot of experiences with Drew. Me and Drew go back a long way. I love Drew.
Yeah, he seems
he's a solid
like a
dude.
Character.
He's a good ass person.
So I was mentioning earlier, somebody sent me a message. His name is Mike Silva,
Oh, that's my boy.
and he asked me to
Trackstar.
talk with you about Nate Banks, who you mentioned was killed by the police, but Mike also told me a story about some house party that Woodie and him got jumped in or something like that. I don't want to read the whole message, but he was just.
I do remember that. That's funny. Damn, I was there for that. It's funny, all these things you go through and like you kind of forget. You know what I mean? I do remember that. That was so. Do you know who Jay Newberry is?
No.
Jay Newberry was a 49er. He was big. He got interviewed on Real Sports with Brian Gumbel and everything. So Jay Newberry went to school with us. And I was hella cool with Jay Newberry. But as we got older, Jay Newberry knew he was destined for the NFL. And he kind of, as he got older, started being like cocky, kind of asshole. Like, you know what I mean? Because everybody was on him. He was like a number one pick. You're going to go to college and you're going to be an NFL star. And that's exactly what happened. And he knew it. You know what I mean? And I don't know what happened, but we basically came to a big ass party, and I barely remember it. We came to a big ass party, and somehow fucking, I don't know why, but we got into it with one of the football players. And Jay Newberry stood up for his boy. You know what I mean? And but it was so crowded. I remember being separated. It was like me. I can't remember if it was Nate. I don't remember who. It was me and somebody else. And then there was like another like 15 or 20 people between Wood and us. And all this shit started going down. And Wood, I remember he grabbed a 40. He had, because Wood always had an old E in his hand. He grabbed a 40 and he smashed it on this dude's head, and it just caused a big ass fight. But he didn't do it smart, because if you're gonna break a bottle over somebody's head, you break it like this. He didn't do that. He took it and he broke it like this, and it fucked up his hand. It cut so bad into his hand that he had nerve damage and shit. And then they started jumping him, and who was it? I can't remember who it was. Me and one of my other homeboys are trying to get there, and then just shot, pop, 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 and it just gunfire started going off, and you're in a party full of jocks and squares. Everybody started leaving, and then we had space. You know what I mean? And we just got the fuck out of there. But I'm not sure if that's the party he's talking about. Oh, that's a different party. Fuck, bro.
He's okay.
What's he saying? Let
if
remind
I have
me.
to edit it, I will. But he said, Nate Banks, Wood, Nate, and others at Megan's party where Wood got jumped. He got jumped because the guy who snitched on Gabe was there.
I know what he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about. I wasn't there for that. Wood told me the whole story. I happened to not be kicking it that night. So, but I know about that whole story. So yeah, man. So it's funny, bro. Like, you know, when you think of a rat, when you think of a snitch, you think of some soft ass, scary, cowardly fucking person.
Not always. Yeah,
Not
there's
always,
some
bro.
dangerous snitches out
Not
there. Sometimes
always.
they're more dangerous because they're like, "What's up?" Like,
Not
yeah,
exactly.
I snitched. What the fuck you gonna do?
Yeah,
about
what the
it?
fuck you gonna?
I'm gonna get you before you get me.
So I think for most people, though, when they think of a snitch, they think of this cowardly fucking.
Yeah,
but if you've really been out there,
There's some
there's some
dangerous snitches
bro.
out there. Yeah.
So this dude used to fucking. He was part of us. His name's Johnny Burge, JB, and he used to fucking. The funny thing about J. And I always told Wood, see, because I have this sixth sense about people. I always have. I call them my spidey senses. They be tingling and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big ass nerd, so I have nerd ass like responses to shit. But that's like my spidey sense shit, bro. I pick up if you're a bad person, bro. I'm gonna know it. If you got some weird ass darkness in you, not regular, you know, we all have a little bit of darkness in us. That's fine. Gives you character. But if you're dark on a point where like you cannot be trusted, you're a fucking snake. Like I'll know it. You don't even have to say anything. I'll just feel it off you. You know what I mean? Like I'm just one of those. I'm real intuitive. And the moment JB started coming around, it's something about him, man. He's not a sucker at all, but it's just something about him. And I told Wood, I had several conversations with Wood about, bro, I don't trust JB. I don't trust him. I don't like him around. Bro, you're tripping, bro. He's fucking. Bro, that dude's fucking, he's down, bro. He's hella down. I'm like, I know he's down. I'm not saying that. I just don't trust him. I think you're tripping, bro. Like, we had a couple of those conversations. And he ended up being a rat. But he's one of those rats, like, he's a snitch, but he's a killer. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be careful with people like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, the word shame doesn't exist to him. You know what I'm saying?
They'll tell and then go right back to business like nothing happened.
Oh, this motherfucker will rat on you and kill you and fucking feel no compunction whatsoever. You know, it'd be fine with it. You know what I mean? So, like, he's one of those. And, like, one day, I guess, there was something that happened where, like, he had Wood's gun. And it was, like, it was like a fucking 357 or something nice, something he cared about, you know? And he let him borrow it and fucking, he didn't, he said that he had to throw it. But really, he sold it. You know what I mean? And I told Wood, I'm like, bro, he didn't throw it, bro. I'm telling you, bro. And he finds out later, and he sold it. You know what I'm saying? And there are a couple other things that happened in between them. And one day, they're at a party. It's funny, like, I almost want to stop myself, but it's like Wood's gone now. Like, certain things I can talk about. You know what I mean? So it's like,
that's why I was like, let me let you tell it instead of reading this whole message.
They were at a party and I wasn't there, but they were at a party and fucking I don't know what they started beefing about or what they started getting into it about, but Wood confronted him about some shit, and they're sitting across the table like me and you are. And I mean, this is straight up from Wood, like telling me, you know what I mean? And he's like, I can't remember exactly what the argument was about. It might have been about the gun, but he did come to know about the gun and he was pissed about it. And I remember him telling me several times after, bro, you were right about JB. I'm like, fucking told you, bro.
But this dude also snitched on Snoop?
Yeah, he was. Yep. Yeah, he's. I don't know if he snitched in the Snoop case. But he did. Yeah, he's a snitch. He's a verified. Yeah. So like, So I don't know, bro, what they got into an argument about, but basically what Wood told me is they started yelling at each other, they get an argument, and Wood just made up his mind. He's like, you know what, fuck this. And he fucking pulls out his strap and he shoots and it jams. And he's like, what the fuck? And he starts going like this. And in the time he's going like this, they just all jump him and beat the fuck out of him, bro. They broke his jaw. His jaw was wired shut. He had a big ass scar right up under his jawline from it being wired shut. They fucked him up. They fucked him up bad.
Damn.
He got, and I know some of the people that did it, but yeah, they were just sticking up for the wrong person. They don't know who they're sticking up for at the time. You know what I'm saying? I think if everything would have been known, I don't think they would have turned on, because Wood was cool with everybody at that party, but they felt the need to protect dude over because of what Wood did,
right.
But they don't know
the reasons.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Mike says that Nate got knocked out but woke back up and started fighting again at that party.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So That is right. Yeah, that's right. So when Wood was getting, I would know more if I was there. I just remember the story that I was told. But when Wood, that's true. When Wood was there, when Wood was getting stomped out, Nate was like, I think Nate was the only person because we're all friends, bro. We all hang out all together all the time. But there's levels. It's like okay, we're all Northerners, but this is one big group, and we all kick it, and we're all like family. But when shit goes down, people start taking sides and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. And so like basically everybody jumped on Wood and started whooping Wood's ass. And Nate is part of us. He's 20th Street. He's one of us. So like he jumped in and he got knocked out. Yeah, he got knocked out, and then he woke back up and he fucking wanted more beef, bro. He kept fighting. That's how Nate was. Nate was like, I got another, bro. So I'm in jail. Like, that's how Nate was. Nate was a savage, bro. I'm in jail, and I'm pissed because I'm not in jail very often. I'm not one of those people, like, I'm not one of those homeboys that's just been in jail hella times. I've been in jail a good handful of times, short times, for short moments at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm in jail maybe like 5 or 6 times, not that many. I'm in jail, and I'm like, I'm waiting, and I'm in a room, and it was random. It was so random. I'm waiting. I don't remember what I was waiting for, but I'm in a room by myself, and I hear yelling and screaming and "fuck you, motherfucker," and da 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 da, and "you're a fucking coward, you fucking bitch ass motherfucker." Just somebody talking hella shit, and my door's starting to open, and I'm like, oh, I guess another prisoner's coming in here, like another inmate's coming in here with me, right? And it's fucking Nate, and he's bleeding everywhere. His fucking nose is broken. His mouth is bleeding. He's got a laceration on the back of his head. He's fucked up. Like, these cops just beat the shit out of him. And fucking, I'm like, Nate? And I'm in handcuffs. I'm like, Nate? He's like, Shad, what's up, bro? And he's just dripping blood, and he sits by me. I'm like, bro, what the fuck happened to you? He's like, these bitch ass motherfuckers started fucking jumping me because they fucking can't handle me. And da-da-da. He's talking hella shit. And I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. He's like, no, bro, no. What? Fuck you. Fuck them, bro. Fuck them. And I'm just like, he was a savage like that, bro. That's just how he was. You know what I mean? And we stayed in a jail cell together for the rest of the day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that's how Nate was. And so, yeah, I remember Wood telling me they knocked him out, and he woke up and just fucking started wanting to fight, like started jumping on people and fighting people again. And
he ended up getting killed by APD.
He got killed by Officer Michael Mortimer. He was a cop that dude's got like 6 or 7 bodies on his career. You know what I'm saying? And this was like the last straw. So Nate was running away from him. And he jumped up on a fence, and he got shot in his leg or his hip, and then he shot him again, and it went through his shoulder, but because of the angle or something, it went through both of his lungs. And he also got shot in the back of his head. So he got shot 3 times, and that killed him.
Rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace, Nate. Up. I got a dedication piece to him on my album. I got a song called Tribute that's dedicated to him and Wood. I miss Nate. So Nate had gotten out of prison, and Nate had a job as a roofer because he actually had a trade, and he was kind of balling, and he used to hustle on the side. And right before, like about 6 months before he died, me and him were chopping it up. And he was like, bro, you need to carry on what Wood did, bro. You need to fucking keep making music, bro. He's like, bro, out of everybody, this was just Nate telling me. He's like, out of everybody, he's like, everybody's talented, but out of everybody, bro, I think you got the best shot, bro. He's like, bro, he's like, every time you rap, bro, it's amazing. And I'm like, man, thank you. He's like, bro, if I can get some money together, I'm down to put 10 grand on it. And I'm like, for real? He's like, give me a couple months, bro. I'll put $10,000 on a project for you, and we'll do it together. And I was like, fuck yeah, bro. Cause I grew up with Nate. So I'm like, hell yeah, this feels right. Let's do it. And he died like 3-4 months later, something like that. Yeah, that one hurts, bro. Yeah, Nate, I love Nate, man. Nathan Banks, rest in peace, Nate Banks.
Rest in peace. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, Wood talked about him on the albums too, like my homeboy Little Nate Banks.
That's
on The Way You Feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of which, Is that Megan who sings on that, or that's another singer?
No, The Way You Feel is Shauna.
Okay. Well, people were very curious about Megan, her backstory with East CoCo, and any update. I believe she's still working with you. You guys are
Megan's on this album.
So is that another?
Actually, the song Tribute that I said is for Wood and Nate. It's me and Megan.
So she grew up with all y'all too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've known Megan since she was like 12, 13, something like that. Megan's a little younger than me. I probably known Megan since she was like 14, 15, and I was like 17 or some shit like that. I've known Megan for a long time. And Megan used to, she was one of it's like Megan, Laura, Joey, like, it's like, there's a certain group of girls that just always hung out with us, and they kind of became, it's like they were our girl counterparts almost. Like they were part of the group. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Megan's one of us for sure. Megan's been around forever. And anytime I ask her for anything, right away, I'd be like, I need you on this song. She'd be like, fuck. Because Megan's not confident like that. She's kind of like me. Like she doesn't have all the confidence in the world. She's like, all right, if you really need it. I'm like, dude, you're dope. Stop. Like, let's do it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, based on the feedback I'm getting, she has her own fan base out there too.
Yeah, she does. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she's never even put out an album.
Yeah. Crazy. It does kind of seem like now it's a good time that you're back in it.
Right.
And the album, hopefully by the time that this drops,
it should be on Even at the very least. It'll be out on Even.
Can support it directly. Remind me the title one more time.
Authentic. Shad Viciouz. Authentic.
Authentic.
Yeah, the Book of Shadow. Authentic. The Book of Shadow.
If you want to see part 3, leave a comment. If you want to see this man succeed and this album do well and get out there, support his album, support this podcast, support this episode, like, share, subscribe. I never say that. I need to say it more. And also, if you would buy a ticket to go see this guy perform, leave a comment, let him know, because he just said like 5 times he's not the most confident cat. You need confidence for this, so let's all help the brother out. Let's build his confidence up, and let's help him get some bread after all these dope, amazing stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you once again for being so candid. And I think part 3, we'll do part 3 once the album is out.
Okay.
Then we can do a little follow-up
just
promo.
So people know too, like I'm not, like the album's going to be on Even for at least anywhere between 90 to 120 days. I'm not putting it right on streaming.
Yeah. So you got to go buy it direct. So we'll do a follow-up to see how that's doing. And brother.
Right.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm super grateful. You have no idea. I'm very grateful, bro. Like you've changed things for me to a certain degree, bro. Like I got, like I said, double the followers. I got people hitting me up on Instagram all the time. I got people buying verses from me, and I got people like, when is your album gonna drop? When is your album? I had people hitting me up like, bro, I didn't even know about you, but I watched History of the Bay, and I couldn't stop watching your interview, bro. I watched the whole 2.5 hours straight, bro. And then I started listening to your music. You're dope. Like you got people listening to me that have no idea who I am, that have no idea who Woodie is. Like I got a bunch of those. I've had a ton of people just walk up to me, bro, I saw you on the podcast, bro. Like, it's crazy, bro.
That's
like, so thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for sharing that. You're welcome. My pleasure. And thank y'all, because you are the ones who make this happen and make this platform grow. We're 100 and something episodes in. Let's keep it fucking going. Thank you, Shad Viciouz.
Thank you.
My man, Visuals, Empire, San Francisco, Antioch, the whole Bay Area.
The whole Bay.
Dregs One. See y'all next time.
From the yacht to the skull.
Yee.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.